So if you know me, you know I love a few things: water, the gym, bleach, and the mines. I absolutely love this game mode. It's my favorite game mode in the entire game. This may change when Grand Battle comes out, but right now, this is my favorite. And one of the things that I never did was get to a pretty high level in the mines. I always would stop around like floor 70 or something, but I wouldn't ever push beyond floor 100. Except now. As you see, I have currently gotten to floor 104, and I can easily keep going, but I feel like this is a good stopping point slash a good checkpoint to actually make a video on how I got to floor 100, so maybe you guys can utilize some of the team comps I use, some of the equips I use, and just some general tips for each boss. Getting the floor 100 is definitely a challenge, and it's also very, very unit reliant. I know that sucks, but it's just the way how it is. It's a gacha game. I mean, what else can you expect? I would say it's also equip reliant, but it's not entirely equip reliant, except like on a few bosses that require you to inflict them with some type of status effect. But yeah, let's actually talk about how we got to this floor. I would say from floor 1 to about floor 70, this was the exact team that I actually used. These guys are extremely replaceable though, except Shiro. He's the only one that you can't replace. You need Shiro for so many floors, especially the higher ones, just because enemies deal way too much damage, and you need some type of way to mitigate that damage, either through Shiro, Sandstone, or some other kind of taunt tank. But my recommendation is that if you have Shiro, use them. As for the other guys, they're easily replaceable. Jay can be replaced with literally any other attacker that you just want to use. Emperor could be replaced with Haruto. Either one you want to use, it's perfectly fine. Morgoth is a very, very key unit in the mines, since he has so much. He has the arch gen, he has the crit rate, he has the accuracy buff on the art, and then if you need him to, he also has his super art, which does crazy amounts of damage. One thing I will say though is that in this exact team, he was nothing more than a support unit. He did not need to do damage at all, since Jay was able to out damage him. Yes, you heard me right. Jay was able to out damage him in every single stage, because Jay actually can ramp up his damage. But yeah, this team was what I used to get from floor 1 to floor 70, except when it came to specific bosses. Some of those bosses do include this freaking guy right here, which, oh my god, as you see, I've only beat him on floor 41, because yeah, he is a difficult fight. Deadmaster is the key to winning this fight. If you don't have Deadmaster, you can also use Strength and kind of go more of a spirit slash machine team, utilizing characters like Norn, Sakura Miku, and all that. But that is a very, very hard team to obtain, because that is a very veteran team. You had to been playing the game for years to even have some of those characters, and it's not very readily available. I've been playing the game since it pretty much came out, and I don't even have all the characters to fight this boss. I don't even have the main unit to fight this boss, which is Deadmaster. If you have Deadmaster, you can easily nuke this boss, no problem whatsoever. Just make sure you're bringing enough stuff to actually be able to buff up Deadmaster's damage to one-shot this boss. Apart from him, the other character that definitely may throw you for a loop just a little bit will be Wilkes. Wilkes is kind of annoying because you can't use overtime arch gen, and you have to use burst arch geners, and you also need to use a blind character. Priestess is the best character to use here, since she kind of fills every role. But if you don't have Priestess, like me, you can use Diablo. Diablo does have overtime arch gen with his passive, which we're not focusing on that here. He can function as an attacker and also a blind unit. And everyone else on your team is just burst arch geners. The other units that I utilized here were units like Serpa, of course, Shiro, Emiya, and then the last burst arch gener I actually went with most of the time Gamma. Inferno God Ifrit, even from floor 1 to 70, the best team to utilize on this character is, of course, using a Shiro, but it's actually using a team like this. And as you see, this is a free unit here. Roast is extremely good against Ifrit. You can use like 12 duration Mizuki and all that, but I personally recommend Roast the most, just because Roast is the easiest to do this with, since he does actually apply a lifesteal effect to the entire team. The reason why you need lifesteal is because this stage has Hellfire, and Hellfire is going to absolutely demolish all of your units if you aren't able to actually deal with it. In terms of everyone else, it's pretty like self-explanatory. Even with the Omega fights, there's no one that's necessarily extremely difficult to the point to where I felt like I couldn't necessarily beat. Some of them was just like, oh, I just done goofed. Like against the Omega Deus Ex Machina, his final nuke just does crazy amounts of damage, so you probably just want to bring like blessed necklaces and hopefully some type of crazy defense mitigation item to be able to go through that. But I think if you have like blessed necklace or a few blessed necklaces on your characters, you'll probably be fine to be able to tank it. I never was actually able to fight the blue Omega Bird, so I wasn't for sure on him. Geozagnus should probably be avoided. That team to fight him is extremely limiting too, and it's just not that good. And I think overall you would save yourself the headache. But yeah, everything else was pretty smooth sailing. If you guys need any more details about how to actually fight specific stages, I'll link a Google Doc down below in the description to the Mines guide that the official Discord made. That actually shows all the team comps for each stage, and not only does it show all the team comps for each stage, if I'm not mistaken, it also shows each team comp for like every single floor. So even if you get to floor 200, then you'll be able to see a team comp even for floor 200. Now, one thing I will say is that there's not really a point to go past this. Okay, once you get to floor 100, you kind of beat Mines to an extent. The only thing that you haven't done yet is that if you go over here to the missions tab and you go to limited, you haven't cleared this stuff, which is just going to get you more crystals and also get you more flux drops. And it's definitely worth to go beyond this point if you can, because this is a lot of crystals. But the reason why I say it's not really worth to go any further than floor 100 if you don't want to is because of the depth bonuses from the bosses. Now, if you check here, let's see if there's a boss that I haven't fought in a while, like Geozagnus. Geozagnus is on floor 41. If you are a brand new player and you just started playing this, if you beat Geozagnus on floor 99, which as you see down here, where is it? There it is. You get 1 crystal, okay? But you also not only get 1 crystal, you get all of the other rewards as well. So the stamina pots, even more crystals, flux drops, all of this stuff by beating Geozagnus on floor 99. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's about 10 crystals in total for each boss, plus 5 or 6 small stamina pots. And that right there is where I feel like you're going to be getting the largest amount of crystals from. Also where you're going to be getting a lot of stamina pots from. Like, I am loaded on stamina pots right now in terms of small stamina pots. Like, look at this. I have 125, and that's all from the mines. Like, that's insane. But yeah, that's how I was able to get to floor 100. Some of the general stuff that I had to go through and some of the team comps I used to get to this floor. Going beyond this floor is more of just bragging rights than anything else, since yeah, you do get a bit more crystals from it, but once you get to this floor, man, you can do all of your boss list stuff here, and you can also start farming your equips. Equips drop pretty consistently on this floor. At least every time I used a lure, I usually get at least 1 equip in each lure from what I've noticed, and I've used like 2 or 3, and that was specifically for Despair. I farmed like 2 Despairs already. And there definitely needs to be some updates to this game mode, like having the ability to refresh your friends list, or having the ability to search for specific units, like for an example, your Dead Masters, because literally Geozagnus feels more like a coin flip than anything, because if you don't get a Dead Master in your friend units, and you don't have a Dead Master, you just lose. And also, for a lot of people, that's how it is for the majority of the mines, because if you don't have Shiro Emiya, and if you don't get Shiro on your friends list, a lot of the times you will just lose that floor, especially if you're extremely deep in the mines. Either way though, that's how I did it. That's how I got to floor 100. Hope you guys enjoy this kind of a video. Tell me down below if you guys want to see me get to floor 200. I'll try, I'll try my best before the mines leaves. But and then whenever I do that video, instead of me doing tips and stuff, I will actually do kind of a highlight reel, or more of a experience type video than anything else, and say if I recommend it or not. But hey, thank you all again for coming out. It's me, Boy P, and last but not least, before you guys leave, don't get a drink water.